Hello guys, welcome back. It's funny how the universe works. We were working on this video, not quite getting it right, and somebody asked a question about the video we were working on, so we were doing pretty good. Um, Somebody asked, what do the gods think of like depression and feeling down? It's especially timely now because if you have depression like I do or social anxiety, it can get even worse after the holidays because all the fun and the excitement of the holidays is over, man. Like, maybe you could extend it for the post holiday sale, but that's chaos and bedlam. And if you have social anxiety, you ain't going out in that. So, what do you do? What we actually did is we kind of did some work. I realized the dream now. The guy in the fursuit had to be either Loki or Odin. Those two are so strange. And the message was, yes, the gods can care about terrible people, but this doesn't mean you let them walk all over you. And I realized I had undecorated today as a response to, and we're getting into this because this relates back to the question. In my childhood, we had some really terrible people in the family that, you know, Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, we actually had to hide all of our presents when the relatives showed up. You even had to hide the good food like in the basement or the garage. I'm not kidding. You had to hide stuff, and we weren't financially dependent on these people or anything. They didn't pay any of our bills or do anything else for us. They were just shitty people. And if we left our stuff out and were proud of the few humble things we had, because we really didn't even have that much, they would just be awfully terrible about it and say we were wasting our money and da da da, and they would shit all over everything basically. Excuse my language, but they were shitty people. The aunt is just as shitty, if not worse. She's one of those people who will fucking shove the religious aspect of Christmas down your throat for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Fucking hyper Catholic, okay? One of those ones that makes everybody hate Catholics. Most of us were four-wheelers. We go in there for, birth, for being confirmed, and for death. Maybe for a wedding. Anyhow, she will shove it all down your throat constantly, demand everybody go to mass, do all this stuff, fucking make you hate Jesus. I am sorry for you Christians, but she will annoy the fucking shit out of you, be self-righteous while she does it. And she does have this terribly shitty personality. She would be a person to do horrible things to an orphan. And then the moment it's midnight Christmas night, she's taking all that shit down and throwing it in the garbage. So I'm like, you just prove what you actually think of your God. You've been shoving it down everybody else's throat like God can't see what you're doing. God's got to be sick of you at this point. He loves everyone. I think he's sick of your bullshit. So I had undecorated from all that lovely stress. Sorry to kind of share a downer with you, but I'd undecorated from all that lovely stress. Loki looked around and goes, I'm bored. And that's the scariest phrase ever if you serve Loki. And I said, what do you want me to do? Redecorate? He looked at me like it was Christmas all over again. Can we? And can we have a party? So it took 5 minutes. It's a tiny room. We redecorated. We put the trees back up. We put the decorations back up. We made some coffee. We had some more of those cookies. We put the few presents we got out back up, and we relaxed. And we said thanks to Odin again, and we kind of apologized to Odin for ending Yule so abruptly. And Odin was like, it's okay. You actually needed that healing. You needed all that crap out of you. Some of us can carry it from our childhoods. It's okay because you can eventually let it go. And I realized what bothered me about that self-help guru. Manipulation is not love. Anyone who tells you manipulation is love is a manipulative bastard. Manipulating people is not love. Guilting people into doing stuff is not love. It's not disguised love. It's fucking guilt tripping people into getting your way. You might not even fucking like the person that you're guilt tripping. And I thought, she's giving horrible advice. Where did she get her degree in psychology? Oh, she isn't one. That explains a lot. I'm like, no, don't let people guilt trip you. No, sometimes there's nothing we can do, right? Sometimes we get the very worst of human behavior at the holidays. It's okay to get sad and depressed at that. And it's okay if you have depression and you have anxiety to be actually kind of good during the holidays, and then the day after the holiday to be like, "Oh," because you had constant stimulus, guys, since before Halloween in this country, and then it's abruptly cut off, and society's telling you have to go back to normal. You don't. Leave your tree up all year. Who's going to stop you? Nobody cares. The electric company's going to love you. And they're these little tiny LED lights anyway, so, go at your own pace. And as the person asked, they asked, do the gods care about depression and, feeling down? And they do. Whether it's your first time being depressed after the holidays, and that's normal to feel a letdown because we had all these expectations that either didn't get met or did. We had all these fantasies, and there's always that one more thing you could have used, right? And the more you think about it, try not to think about it too much, but the more you think about, now that you're thinking about it, here's a whole list of stuff you could have got for holidays. Try to let that go. The holiday's been here. We can still kind of coast along until Russian Christmas, so sometime in January. Heck, I extend it to Valentine's Day. You can extend it as long as you want. It's your house, your rules. Even if it's your tiny little college dorm, it's your rules. You want to leave the holiday stuff up if it helps you. And I am repeating what I heard from a therapist. Leave it up. Leave it up. You want to play the carols all year round? I've known people that do that because it just cheers them up. Do it. Do what works for you. Don't worry about anyone else. If the day comes when you get up one day and you look at all of it and you go, I really do want to take this down, I could use this space and decluttering, do that. Do whatever helps you. But the gods really do care, and they're going to customize the care for every one of us. And they are gods that they most certainly believe in getting care. If we need to go to therapy, there's no sin in that. If we need to go to, a doctor and get medication, there's nothing wrong with that either. If we need to go get treatment or whatever else, they're okay with that. Loki's the one that really got on me, along with my uncle, about getting the damn VR set because he knew it was expensive. Initially to set up for VR, it can be kind of expensive. But they couldn't afford, the gods can't just snap their fingers and put me in Maui as much as they want to. It gives me the equivalent of going to the beach. It gives me the equivalent of going to Vegas. It gives me the equivalent of going pretty much anywhere. Not everywhere, but it gives you the equivalent of being able to get out of the house, which has helped me greatly. Now, for some people, it might not help. For some people, they might need like a sun lamp. And again, I'm not a licensed therapist, or meditation, or change to their diet. And only you know if this works or not. If it makes you feel worse, don't do it. But, the gods care deeply, and they'll kind of, especially with Loki, he'll prod you in the right direction. It's okay if you're not sure if you're going in the right direction. You ask him 30 times in 5 minutes. He will kind of prod us in the right direction, and he will be like, okay, which makes you feel better, And you can do this yourself if you're not in touch with the gods. Just say, what makes me feel better? Does extending the holiday make me feel better? Do it. Does it make you feel worse? Don't do it. Figure out for you what works, but they care very deeply. I think I told you guys there's that article on Odin, and his greatest enemy can be depression because, he worries about human immune and thought and memory returning to him. He worries about, losing a sense of self. He worries about, just being depressed and losing his will and his drive. And to, the Nordic people that lived in a very harsh, unforgiving environment that wasn't exactly conducive to good cheer, this was very real problem to have, especially the ones that got tricked into moving to Greenland, which is not green. And, it can be very, real to deal with. And many of the gods have struggled in their own way with depression and anxiety and loss, so they can be very sympathetic, and they do care. And they will be the first to tell us that, there's no shame in getting treatment if we need it. There's no shame in taking whatever course of medication we need, or going to see a therapist, or doing whatever seems right. And sometimes that involves letting go of stuff. Like, I had to let go of how my family used to treat my parents, during Christmas. And I never even thought of this. And my memory just came up today. And I had to let go of how horrible and toxic a person that aunt is. And I had to let go of the fact that she would be judging me. And it was actually really bothering me. And I didn't realize I had to let go of the fact that she would be judging me. And she was one of those self-righteous, bitchy, horrible people that would judge every penny everyone else spent. She could do as she wanted, but, she'd judge everyone else. Well, it doesn't matter what she wants. Until she starts paying my bill and paying the taxes on this place, she doesn't have any say here. So, the gods do care. And the gods will tell us to, as I told you guys before years ago, if you can't avoid the situation or the person that's causing you all that stress and aggravating your depression, and we all have those people in our life, treat them like a hazardous substance and minimize contact. If you are, able to minimize contact, do so. It's just for your own mental health. These people won't be in your life forever. That bitch gonna die sometimes. Wow, how's a laughter back here? But and she's out of my life anyways, because I cut them out of my life. They weren't happy because they wanted me under their thumb, but the gods care about that, and that was one of the healing things I had to do. Sometimes you have to cut people out of your life, and it hurts while you're doing it because maybe they came into your life at a low point and took advantage. But Loki's process with me was cleaning those people out of my life, people both online and in the real world, and cleaning up. I told you guys I went on a spectrum for a while, and that just damn near killed me, but it seemed to rewire my brain, and I'm a lot better than I used to be. Do I still get sad and depressed? Yeah, I do, but it's not as often. It's usually think the God's not as severe, but since we took everything down today and we were both looking around, we were majorly depressed. We're like, and we put everything back up. And since we decided that woman's therapy advice, which she's not a therapist, by the way, so I won't even give you one of her videos, was full of shit, we decided we're not taking her advice. We're doing what we want to do. If going out and buying a small trinket makes us happy, then we're going to do it. God damn it. And that's the thing. If you can afford it, like, don't not pay your bills. But if you can afford it and going and getting a tiny thing, like going and get like a bottle of pop or a cookie or a donut or something, or tiny after Christmas trinket makes you happy, go do it. Go do it. Hey, it's cheaper than medication most of the time, so go do it. So you have our permission to do whatever it takes to make you feel happy, and there's no judgment with the pagan gods. They don't care what it is as long as it's not harming you in the long run. So, don't self-harm, obviously, but, they do care very deeply about us, and they do care about depression. It's not your fault. It's how your brain is wired. It's like I will have depression to some degree and anxiety to some degree the rest of my life. But I'll also have to wear glasses the rest of my life, and as much as it seems like God is cozying up to me, God hasn't snapped his fingers and cured my depression or made me, given me 20/20 vision or anything else. So, it's just a natural part of how we're built, and we just don't have the science right now to go in our brains and just go bloop. But, there's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just a normal part of how you are. Some people are on the other side of the spectrum, and they're always up, 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 up. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and, just take it one day at a time. If you just have to take it one moment at a time, that's fine too. Find what works for you. So, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.